In 1994, a 6.7 magnitude earthquake struck Los Angeles in the middle of the night. LA residents, shaken from their beds, ran outside or looked out their windows and saw deep darkness. The earthquake had knocked out power across the city. As one account of that night put it, they looked up at the sky. It was flush with cosmic bodies that had been invisible up to that point. Twinkling stars, clustered galaxies, distant planets, even a satellite or two. Then some people became nervous. What was that large, silvery cloud that trailed over the city? It looked so sinister, many called 911. That cloud was the Milky Way. They had never seen it before. The Milky Way, steadily shining for eons, but to the modern eye, invisible, until the electric lights of the city went out due to a natural disaster. I recently learned that the term apocalypse actually means an uncovering. It comes from the Greek word apocalypsis, which means a lifting of the veil, and typically refers to the revelation of something previously hidden. In the past year and a half, the metaphorical lights have gone out. So many familiar landscapes have been cast in darkness, and our eyes have had to adjust, like when you go into a darkened movie theater on a bright sunny day. When we enter that darkened theater, things that are in one moment invisible to us begin to take on contours and outlines, and soon enough we're able to see what was there all along. What has taken shape and become visible to us during the pandemic, which we never even realized was there before? And what demands our response? Amidst the busyness of this past summer, I had the gift of a short vacation in York Beach, Maine. It was there, away from the piles of papers demanding that I respond to them, my overflowing inboxes, away from the barrage of news as I tried to limit my consumption of news and social media. With the scope of my seeing narrowed, I was able to see more clearly that which most needed my attention, and I was better able to respond. Surely the ocean air and my daily witnessing of the power and expanse of the ocean, which is my favorite sight in the natural world, helped to bring this new clarity. In fact, I began to think that if I could see the ocean in its steady, beautiful, rhythmic power on a more regular basis, it would help my soul in so many ways. Paradoxically, the view of that wide expanse of ocean, coupled with my newly narrowed field of vision with less coming at me all the time, served to help me see better. I was better able to see myself, better able to see others, better able to see and consider how I can best be of service to the world at this painful moment of multiple communal crises. For most of human history, the scope of our vision was infinitely more narrow than it is today. The sheer number of human beings with whom we interact in a given day, thanks to our digital technology, far, far outnumbers the number of other people our ancestors interacted with, when their worlds were by definition hyper-local. Those you saw or spoke to were those who lived close to you, family, friends, members of your local tribe or town or community. So much calls out to us. We become scattered, exhausted, and overwhelmed rather than focused, awake, and responsive. Truly to pay attention, to see and respond to what needs tending, mending, healing all around us, we need sometimes to shut some of it out, to close our eyes, to enter into the darkness so that what was there all along, but we never noticed, can come into focus for us. What can we draw from Jewish tradition to help us bring our full attention, our full capacity to see, to a world spilling over with need? Today, we read the story of Abraham and Isaac, of faith and fear and near sacrifice. But that story can't happen without another story of fear and faith, a story of vision and clarity. In many communities, this story is the one that is read on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. It's the story of Hagar, the Egyptian maidservant, who bears a child, Ishmael, for Abraham, when Sarah cannot conceive. Pregnant with her child, Hagar runs away from the infertile Sarah's jealousy and mistreatment. And as happens with so many of our ancestors, she meets an angel who names her son to be and makes her a promise for the future. In that moment, Hagar, the Egyptian maidservant, becomes the only person in Torah to give God a name. The verse reads, "And she called the Lord who spoke to her, 'You are El Roi,' by which she meant, 'Have I not gone on seeing after he saw me?'" As the Eitz Chaim Chumash commentary notes, El Roi can be translated as God of seeing, the all-seeing God, but also God of my seeing, and God who sees me. And remember, Hagar says, "You are El Roi. Have I not gone on seeing after he saw me?" Hagar has likely felt overlooked in her humanity, seen only for her procreative value. She is objectified. One can imagine that she has felt unseen for a very long time. Alone and despondent after Sarah's mistreatment, running away but unsure of where to go, she seems astonished that God sees her. And in being seen, she is better able to see. Later, Hagar is cast out into the desert wilderness along with her son Ishmael by Sarah. When their flask of water runs dry in the hot desert sun, Hagar places Ishmael under a bush and sits at a distance from him, saying, "Let me not look upon my son while he dies." But then, perhaps because she has encountered a God who sees her, God opens her eyes and she can see a well of water when she most needs it. The well was there all along. In order to see what we most need, we need to feel seen as a full human being, no matter where we come from. We need to be and feel seen in our fullness and in our suffering. El Roi saw Hagar, and she understood in that moment that in being seen, she was being empowered to see. We all long to feel seen, known, and understood. And when we do, healing is created in us, and that enables us to see others and to help them heal. And also, sometimes we need to close our eyes. We need to sit, as Hagar did, at a distance. On the surface, this wisdom seems to run counter to being awake, alert, attentive to the enormity of the world's grief. But the devastating effects of floods, fires, hurricanes, droughts, earthquakes, gun violence, the pandemic, it's too much for us to see at once. We cannot let it all in at once, and we cannot let it in all the time. Sometimes we need to sit at a distance to close our eyes. It's actually an act of self-compassion, which then generates compassion for others, letting ourselves rest in order to renew our energy for attention and response. It can be hard to let ourselves close our eyes for rest and renewal, and to close our eyes in the sense of taking leave of the suffering of the world and doing what brings us joy. How can we enjoy a meal with loved ones, or a concert, or a day in a park, or just sing along to our favorite songs in our cars when so much is happening, so many are suffering? In order to see it and respond to it, we need to dance when we can. We need to sing when we can. We need to eat delicious foods and enjoy loving the people we love when we can. This might seem like tuning out, but letting ourselves live with a rhythm of eyes open and eyes closed enables our eyes to be open to what is most needed, to see and to help others see what was there all along. When our field of vision is narrowed or even darkened or renewed because we have closed our eyes for a bit, what is most important and necessary can come into focus, temporarily shutting out the barrage of information and images pouring through us out of our screens, and taking time for joy and for pleasure helps us to be better present and responsive to the world's need. Hagar encountered the malach, the angel, in her time of deepest need. She was seen and thus able to see that life-giving well of water. Each of us can be a malach, an angel of God, when we open our eyes fully and with undistracted attention to another person. And when we truly see one another, we create in them the capacity to see. When we bring full presence to one another, seeing them no matter their identity, role in society, as created in the divine image, we nurture in them the ability to see. And when our vision is clear and focused and responsive, we can notice what was there all along. And then we're able to partner with God in the healing of the world. The Milky Way galaxy was just overhead, but in the cityscape of Los Angeles, beaming too much light into the darkness above, it was invisible. It was invisible until the familiar landscape, the light and buzz of the city, was suddenly cast into darkness. Then a miraculous sight came into view. Entering the new year 5782, I invite you to reflect. What has come into view for you during the sudden darknesses of the past 18 months? How has your vision become more focused? What have you seen? How have we held on to moments of joy with an attentiveness we may not have felt so intensely before? How have we helped others to feel seen and in turn to see others? Though many have used the term apocalypse to describe this time with some degree of sarcasm or assumed exaggeration, this uncovering, to use the original meaning of the term, has lifted the veil. Our eyes are newly opened to each other, to injustices and suffering, to what needs our attention, our healing. May this uncovering inspire and empower us to build a better world in which new light emerges, new light, which was there all along. Shana Tova.